Hey everyone, Ben Hess here with Epidemic, and in this video we're talking about music stems. So what are stems? Stems are essentially subgroups of the same musical instruments from a track or a song. And Epidemic has them separated into 4 categories. The first one is going to be melody, the second one is your instruments, third one bass, and your last one drums. This is Calling Me. It's a super popular song right now, and if you go to the stems right here, we can see the melody, and we can actually hear how it sounds.
Like the rainbow.
Same thing with the instruments, bass, and the drums. And then let's head over to the bass. Let's see how it sounds. Oh yeah, that sounds gnarly. And then last but not least, we got our drums. When you're on the full mix, when you download, you can either download the full mix or all the stems. And let's say you just want to download the bass of something. You can click just the bass and download that, but for the sake, I want to download all of these stems. Being a filmmaker, stems are so important. They offer you complete creative control in order to edit a song to properly fit the project that you're working on. What's great is every song on Epidemic Sound, you have the ability to download the stems. You're probably asking yourself, well Ben, what can I do with stems? You can easily take out or bring down the volume of any vocals from a song. Usually when you have a song with lyrics and there's something being said on screen at the same time, you have to bring down the actual song so much so it doesn't compete with what's being said on screen. So essentially you're lowering the volume of the melody a lot, but only the volume of the rest of the song a little bit. So I brought in a clip that'll showcase a perfect example of using stems. This is my buddy Sam driving a car, and then he goes into a quick little voiceover, and then it goes back to him entering this little cabin with no voiceover. So for example, I'm going to drag in the original song, and let's listen to this middle portion.
I think for a lot of people, being able...
So I need to bring down the volume of the song, obviously. So do...
I think for a lot of...
Let's do -25. Let's just see how that sounds.
I think for a lot of people, being able to do what you love for a living is one of life's great achievements.
So as you can see, by the time I lowered the track so that the vocals aren't competing with him, we've lost the cool instruments that are happening in the background. So I'm going to delete this. So one at a time, drag in all of your stems, and I like to drag the melody, then the instruments, then the drums, and then the bass right on top of one another. And now I can go in here, let's see, listen.
I think for a lot of people, being able to...
So I'm going to mute everything other than the melody.
I think for a lot of people, being able to...
Now I can go in, let's add a keyframe right here, and let's go forward a few frames.
I think for a lot of people, being able...
And let's do -20, see how that sounds.
I think for a lot of people, being able to do what you...
There we go, so now that's not competing with his vocals. So now what I can do is go in and lower just the instruments, bass, and the drums. So let's see.
I think for a lot of...
Right about here he starts talking, so we'll add a keyframe here, and we'll do let's say -12, and I'm going to go back a few keyframes, and that'll be our 0 mark. So you can see it will kind of fade down just a little bit. And I need to copy this to the drums and bass. And let's see how it sounds now with the actual melody too.
I think for a lot of people, being able to do what you love for a living is one of life's great achievements. I feel very fortunate to be a professional.
And see, now we can actually hear the really beautiful instrumental version of the song, but the vocals from the song are brought way down, so they're not competing. And what's really cool about the stems is you don't just have to take out the vocals. It's also great for the drums, the instruments, or the bass. You can adjust each of these to really customize the song for your project. So you could isolate certain stems so only those are playing, and you could also have other stems kind of gradually fade in to build up the song versus everything all at once. Essentially, you're able to remix the song perfectly to fit the vibes of whatever you're shooting. And now let's take it a step further. Let's say we don't want anything other than the actual instrument. So I'm just gonna drag over just a little bit because I can see that it starts right here. So I'm gonna start right on the instruments. And now I'm gonna select the melody, bass, and the drums. I'm gonna drag these back so we can't even hear them up until this whole intro part is done. And let's just listen to the song now. And let me undo this right here. Let's see how it sounds.
I think for a lot of people, being able to do what you
Let's do a quick little volume adjustment.
I think for a lot of
-12.
people, being able to do what you love for a living is one of life's great achievements. I feel very fortunate to be a professional photographer and filmmaker, living in one of the busiest cities in the world, Los Angeles.
And see, now I can go in and let's do an audio transition, exponential fade, and I can just kind of fade in everything right about here where the beat kind of comes right back up. Let's see what we got here. Exponential fade, line these all up, and I gotta remember to bring this volume back up to 0, and let's give it a listen.
The world, Los Angeles.
So you see how the mood just completely changed just using this intro portion. And let's say you just want the actual lyrics. Let's try that for a second.
It's calling me.
Like, it's a totally different vibe. Or you could even do just the drums.
I think for a lot of people, being able to do what you love for a living.
And like, again, the vibes have changed so much, so you could literally do everything you want with these tracks to just customize it to the project you're working on. Another easy part with stems is you can lengthen certain parts of the song much easier than you would if the song was all together. So now from our other tutorial that we did with Kaylee, I grabbed that footage and I got another song here. So let's drag in the melody, the instruments, the drums, and the bass. So let's just listen to it real quick.
I saw the city passing by my window.
Let's say I'm listening to this beat at the very beginning and I really like it, but I don't want to hear his voice come in just yet. And I don't really like this beginning thing either, like that voice. So like the beauty of stems, I can take that out and it's gone. And now let's just lengthen out the first part of this beat right here. So I'm just kind of deleting these first little sections. And what's nice is I can visually see where this beat ends. So I can go over here, select all of this, kind of drag it over, and I could duplicate it. So I'm just selecting it all, holding Option and dragging over. And there we go. Now it's all duplicated, but I don't want the bass right there. Let's see how this sounds.
I saw the city passing by.
And I don't want his vocals either, so let's drag this in. So now you see I've got this really beautiful intro that's much longer than it was before, and I don't have the bass or the vocals either.
I saw the city passing by my window.
So super great way to just lengthen out a song or any portion of the song, really. Another nice little trick you can do is go ahead and add effects just to single tracks. So let's say I want to add a low pass just to his voice. So I went to the filters, typed in low pass, and now what I can do is I'm gonna drag this all the way up. So yeah, it's the highest hertz you can be at.
I saw the city passing by my window.
And right here, I'm clicking to add a keyframe.
Was in the crowd, but I felt so alone.
And now I'm just gonna drag this down.
Was in the crowd, but I felt so alone.
And just like that, I was able to really mix it up and add this low pass to it. And right where his voice goes down, if I really want to kind of remix this, I can take out these drums and bring it back in right where this beat comes in. So if you're looking right here, I could tell that it comes in. So let's see how this sounds now.
I saw the city passing by my window. Was in the crowd, but I felt so alone. Looked at my phone like
and we gotta raise this back to
looked at my phone like every other.
There we go. Let's see how it sounds.
Looked at my phone like every.
Just those nice little edits will really just spice up whatever you're editing. It's very common to transition between two songs in a video, and I'm going to show you a way to really streamline that process using stems. So I'm going to go to beats per minute, and I'm just going to go in here and I'm just going to set it, for instance, let's do 120 to 120. So essentially it's going to show me all the songs that are the same beats per minute. And you know, I'm not a DJ or anything, but I know that this can be a very easy way to transition between two songs. I'm gonna download this song right here, all the stems, and another one. All right, so I've downloaded both songs in here, and now I'm gonna show you how to morph these songs. And what we wanna do is go to the drums, and that's what we're going to be listening for. So
My worst behavior, throwing a party in my head.
all right, so I know that right during this chorus, it would be a good time to go ahead and just transition to the next song. So I'm gonna drag this next song over here, and let's see how it looks. And I'm looking at the timeline of the drums, and it doesn't really start till we go in just a little bit. Let's drag it all over, and let's see how this sounds. I'm just gonna solo the drums. And now what I can do is unsolo this so we hear everything. I'm gonna go over to the effects, and let's go to constant power audio transition, and I'm just going to solo this so we can hear it. And that was a pretty good transition right there. And now I want to let everything else go on, but I'm going to do an exponential fade, and I'm going to do this pretty wide. So between everything else with the melody, instrumental, and the bass, and this should flow pretty well. Let's give it a listen. And there we go. So this I would personally go without any sort of lyrics. So let's and see how that was just a really nice transition between the two songs, using just the drums and then fading out the other spots. And to recap, stems offer complete creative control for whatever you're shooting, whether you want to take out the vocals, bring down just the vocals, remix certain parts of the song, extend certain parts, or even transition between two songs seamlessly. I mean, the list goes on, guys, so just have fun with it and don't be afraid to mess up. This is all about trial and error and just seeing what sounds great. See you guys next time.